Very good morning to everyone. Warm welcome to 19C Oracle Database Administration Workshop. So basically, I can call it as a workshop because it's not going to be a theoretical experience what you are going to feel here. As long as the moment we explain about each and every theory of this particular entire 19C database course, we are going to do each and every concept in a live demonstration based upon the real-time facts and real-time whatever the experience I have. And then same time we're going to execute on the lab, and we'll see each and every concept in a detailed manner and in-depth concept. That's the reason I basically call it as a workshop, because each and every section of this entire course will be built, and all the lab commands and exercise, everything will be uploaded to Google Drive. And then parallelly, as I do all the exercise, you also going to do the same command, and you are going to execute all the concept in a lab, and you're going to feel the output, and then you're going to experience the real-time output, how it's going to work, right? So that's why I basically call it as a workshop rather than a training. Coming to my IT industry experience, I have around 12 years of experience in this DBA field, and I worked in various organizations, and started with career as a junior DBA, and then went ahead with the senior and infrastructure lead, and currently leading 2 to 3 teams with the entire as a Oracle database architect, where I'll be part of any new project where from the scratch, building and designing the database, and for architecture level, that's the role I'm handling it. Plus, I'm an infrastructure lead, where I'm the one who is gonna gather the requirements for any new implementation, whether it is a hardware requirement, or whether it is a any software requirement, or whether it is a capacity planning, what is my database size, and how we're going to implement the new application. So that's a current role I'm going to have it right now with my current organization. And then I worked on various database flavors. Oracle is my primary skills. Along with that, I do have experience in MS SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and other databases. So, and I do have experience on the cloud technologies. I'm certified with Oracle OCI Cloud, and also some other cloud technologies like AWS and Azure. But I proudly say that Oracle is my primary skills. I worked so far in my 12 years careers, various Oracle technologies like Oracle database, RAC expert, and data guard expert, and Exadata implementation Exadata specialist, and Golden Gate certified specialist, and Oracle EBS and OBI. So and also I worked on PeopleSoft. So far in this 12 years of my careers, Oracle is the only primary field where I worked various projects, and various customers, various clients, and major activities what I performed in my career was entire data center build, data center migration, and database migration to cloud. So those are my major activities what I implemented for a few of the clients. So that's all overall journey what happened so far, and then it continued to happen. Right, so that's a quick intro about myself. Let's get started with our workshop. And as I mentioned, today and tomorrow it's going to be our demo classes, and then we continue with regular classes. I hope like most of the people already registered with my course and already got the access to course material, and all the softwares, all the PPTs, workbook, all the lab exercise. I hope everyone gone through that entire course content. If any questions, any queries in the middle of the course, you are allowed to feel free to stop me and then ask me any kind of questions. I can happy to clarify then and there, and then we can get ahead. So rather than I speak alone, I would like to have an active participation. Ask any questions anytime. If you struck or if you don't understand any concept, stop me there itself and then post your queries, ask your queries, and then I'm happy to answer that. And also, as I told, we have a dedicated WhatsApp group for each of these batch. So like if you have any questions after the class or before the class, you can feel free to post your queries in that group, and anybody can answer on that. If nobody can answer, like, I will be there to help you on that. And then after the class, if you are stuck with the installation or configuration or setup and not able to proceed further, and then you will feel free to ping me personally or ping on our WhatsApp group or dedicated WhatsApp group, so I can jump in and I can help you and then proceed further. Right. So I hope like everyone are already gone through the course content. I'll just brief once again. It's going to be our course content. So if you go to this particular blog, you will see that course content, and some of the keynotes for this course is going to be everyday 2-hour classes. And as I said, this is going to be administration workshop, not the training. Everyone in this group are gonna execute each and every command for each and every concept, and you're gonna see the output. And then this is gonna be purely based upon the real-time live demonstration on my lab. And then daily, everyday session will be recorded and then uploaded to the Google Drive. And in case if you miss any concept or if you want to rewind anything, you can feel free to watch that video. And then if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask on that. And then each and every topic will be having its quiz questions, and everything will be answered on that topic itself. And then lab materials, workbook, PPTs, everything will be uploaded to Google Drive. We already got access on that. And then at the end of this course, we're going to cover resume and cover letter, and then that's going to help you for the new job, searching whenever you're planning for a new job search or planning to switch your career. So you're going to feel that how to write your cover letter, resume, and then how to build your LinkedIn profile or any job profile. So we're going to teach on that. And then each and every topic will be covering the interview questions and answers on daily basis. And also at the end of this course, I'm going to share a couple of interview questions and answers, which going to help you for cracking any interview. And then after this course, we'll be taking one-on-one mock interview for everyone to feel how the real-time interview and process everything works. Right, so this is going to be daily 2-hour classes, 9 a.m. IST to 11 a.m. IST, and approximately 30 to 45 days is a course duration. And then this is going to be our entire course content. We'll start with our environment setup, so that downloading your ISO softwares, our Oracle patches, our VMware and Oracle VirtualBox, all the softwares where to download, how to download, and then how to install those VMware Workstation or Oracle VirtualBox, and how to install your Linux, how to set up your M repository, and then understanding your Linux partitions, and then other tools what are needed for our day-to-day DBA activities like Winscp, Putty, MobaXterm, all those softwares. And then start with our network demonstration, DNS, DHCP, name server, forward resolution, reverse resolution, all those network concepts we're going to cover it here. And then followed by installation of our databases. Purely we talk about 19C software. So if needed, I'm gonna share you how the 11G 12C your ASM installation, your database installation, how your 12C and 11G installation gonna work with all the screenshots. So that's I'm gonna share it. And purely we work on 19C software installation and configuration. So we'll download 19C software, we'll install 19C software using GUI mode and using a silent mode. And then we are going to create our 19C database using manual method and using database like DBA method or DBCA method. Whatever the possible ways, we are going to try to create our 19C database. And then we'll start with actually 19C architecture. So we'll basically first deal with a generic architecture, which common along your 11G, 12C, and 19C. And then we'll specifically look at 19C architecture that comes to your pluggable database and container database, and all those we're going to explain over there. And also we have a specific topics for your multi-tenant architecture, that's pluggable and container database and PDBs and CDBs. So there's a separate class for that as well. Then once the architecture we complete, we'll start with the administration task. So that's your how to start your database, how to stop your database, and then understanding of internals to my database. What are my blocks, extent, and segments, table space, data files? What are the internal component of my database? Everything we are going to check it over there. And then understanding your P file, SP file, password file, how to create them, how to manage them. In case of if you lost your control file, your P file, your SP file, or your password file, how to recreate them, what's the impact of your database. Everything we're gonna feel that as a real-time experience. And then we will deal with the memory component, SGA, PGA, how to tune them. Everything we're gonna see it on that administration topics. And then followed by your space management, that's your table space management, data file management, how to add a data file, how to delete a data file, how to resize your data file, how to increase your table space size, how to increase your database size. Everything we're gonna, when you're running out of your table space size, how to add the new data file, how to increase your table space size. So everything we're gonna do it in the, everything we're gonna do live on this particular session, section 8. And then as I said, on 9, section 9, topic 9 would be purely on your multi-tenancy architecture of PDBs and CDBs. So and then we'll completely understand the architecture part, and then how to connect your PDBs, how to connect your CDBs, how to create a pluggable database, how to drop your pluggable databases, how to add data files inside your CDBs, inside your PDBs, how to create a users inside CDB, PDB, and what's a common user, what's a common role, what's a local user, what's a local role. So everything we are gonna see it in this multi-tenant architecture. And then followed by Oracle networking. This is purely networking. I'm gonna talk about listeners, various listeners configuration, and your TNS configuration, SQLnet configuration. And then what are the various issues that you are gonna face it in the listeners. We may see that instances are not able to connect, services are not able to connect, users are not able to connect because you don't have a proper TNS, you don't have a proper listener configuration. Everything we are going to see it on this particular Oracle networking. And then followed by your ASM architecture. We'll explain about ASM architecture first and how ASM is different than your normal database and what are the internals of your ASM, and then how ASM and database will communicate each other, what are the background processes, and then how to start and stop your ASM instance, how SRVCTL, CRSCTL commands works in ASM, and then how to create your disk groups, how to drop your disk groups, how to add a disks into your disk groups. Everything we are going to see it on your ASM architecture here. And then we'll start with our backups and recovery strategies. What is RMAN backup? What is conventional backup? What is hot backup? And then how RMAN is so good at compared with other backup technologies, whether it's a cold backup or whether it's a hot backup. And then most of the industry standards, we use RMAN, and then we'll mostly basically work on RMAN along with some of the traditional backups. So alter database begin backup, alter database end backup, those are like hot backups. So earlier that was the backup strategy, but nowadays RMAN is a major backup tool. Most of the industry, they will use RMAN. So basically we mostly work on RMAN various scenarios here, understanding of backup strategy and then various types of backups, and then what's the difference between your RMAN and conventional backup strategies, and what's the advantage of using RMAN. And then we'll see that what's a cold backup, what's a hot backup, and what is logical backup, what's the user managed backup. All those backup technologies, differences and advantages, we're going to see it here. And then we'll start with RMAN level 0 backup, level 1 backup. That's a cumulative and differential backup. How to take your archive log backup, how to set up your cron job for your RMAN backup, weekend as a full backup and weekdays as a incremental backup, and how to use those backups to restore and recover your database. So we're going to see that restore and recovery backups. And also we can see that RMAN cloning, RMAN active database duplicate, RMAN database duplicate based upon the backups. So everything we're going to see it using RMAN technologies here. And some of the tuning parameters, like how to assign the channels, how to improve your RMAN backups, how to improve your RMAN speed, how to optimize your RMAN backups and restore and recoveries. So some of the common questions in RMAN, you can see, yesterday my backup used to run for 1 hour and today it's running for 4 hours. How you're going, what you're going to check, what you're going to tune it. And then every day my backup is running for almost 5 hours. And what parameter I can tune in order to increase my backup speed. So all those like optimization, we're going to see it for your backups as well as recovery. So I think we're going to see it in this RMAN concept. And then we'll start with the patching. Patching is one of the common exercise. As a DBA, we do a lot of patching activities because Oracle, we used to release quarterly patches. Oracle generally releases quarterly patches every quarterly, and basically they will release this on Jan, April, July, and October. These are the 4 quarters in a year Oracle releases patches. So, and then Oracle strongly recommend to apply those patches in order to keep your database secure. So we are going to see that what's different types of patches. You can see PSU, CPU patching, bundle patching, one-off patching, merge patching, online patching, or hard patch. So there are so many patching naming convention they will use it, but we're going to understand what are those patches and what are those naming convention talks about. And then what is that OPatch tool? OPatch is the only tool we're going to use it for your patching activities. And we have manual patching and auto patching, OPatch auto or manual OPatch apply. So we're going to see all those patching tools and patching methods. And then we're going to apply actual patch on your ASM, on your grid home, as well as your database home. And once you apply the patch, and what are the pre-checks and what are the post-checks you have to take care, what are the post activities you have to perform at your database. So everything we're going to see it in the patching exercise. And then we'll start with the database upgrades. So we have a various database upgrades, manual DB upgrade.sql. That's a manual method of database upgrade. DBA, database upgrade assistant. DBA is a GUI mode based database upgrade. And in 19C, we have something called auto upgrade. So there are various methods to upgrade your database from 11G to 12C or 12C to 19C. All those upgrade activities, upgrade methods, everything we're going to see it here in this upgrade activities. And then we're going to show you what are the pre-checks activity you have to do it and what are the post-check activity you have to do it before and after the upgrade. So everything we can cover it here in this upgrade section. And then we'll start with our database standby or data guard architecture. We'll start with our data guard architecture. What is data guard? Why we need to configure data guard, and what are the major feature or advantages of having your data guard? And then different types of your data guards, physical standby, logical standby, snapshot standby, and then how to convert your physical standby to logical standby or the snapshot standby, or from the snapshot standby to physical standby. And then what is your active data guard, and then everything we are going to cover it in this particular data guard architecture. And then we will build one standby database for one of the production database, and then how to monitor your log shipping between production and DR, and then how to do your switchover failover between your prod and DR. So everything we can see it in the data guard architecture. And then we'll start with the shell scripting, because as a DBA, shell scripting is a common need or common task, because if you want to do your database health check, you have to run hundreds of commands every day. The moment you log in your any shift, if you work on any shift, the moment you log into your shift, you are going to do a lot of checks in order to keep your database healthy. You have to check your listener, you have to check your database, you have to check your database space availability, and so many user access, user privileges, and you have to monitor, you have to audit your database. You have to run those commands on daily basis. That will take 1 or 2 hours every day. So rather than running those commands every day, you can write everything in a shell script and you can keep it, you can make it automate. The moment you log into your shift, you can just run one single script. It will gonna connect to your database and it will run bunch of hundreds of 200s of commands, and it will give you a report. You just need to read those report and take a necessary action. So that shell script is very basic or mandatory skill as a DBA. So we're going to see some of the basic shell scripting and how some of the automation shell scripting for your database monitoring. We'll see we'll write one or two basic shell script and then how to monitor your database. So everything we can understand on this particular shell scripting. And then followed by one of the major activities as a DBA. Performance tuning is always challenging for any DBAs, even if you're a fresher or experienced or expert in Oracle. So one of the challenging area or challenging field is your performance tuning. So performance tuning, nobody is expert or nobody is complete in when it comes to performance tuning, because each and every day you will deal with the different types of performance issues. So you have to how good you are handling at performance tuning. So that's basic fundamental you have to understand. So that's where we are going to come into performance tuning. Starting with this 19th chapter, we're going to purely talk about all the scenarios of performance tuning. We'll start with our AWR report, ADDM report, and ASH report, how to generate them, and then how to read those reports. And then once you read your all these reports, and then what are the recommendation you're going to provide. Index rebuild, gather stats, or SQL profiling, SQL pegging, and your optimizer, and then table move, table shrink, or patching. So whether various recommendations, various tuning factors, or your SQL tuning advisors. So based upon reading these particular reports, how you're gonna give the recommendation to your developer. So everything we're going to see it here in this recommendation sections. And then there's the separate topics for your export and import, which covers your external tables and your SQL loader, how to use your SQL loader in order to load your external files. That's your CSV file or your text file or XML file, whatever the files you're receiving it from your application team. How to create an external table. With that, that's what we're going to see it here along with your import export. We're going to see that external table SQL loader, and then how to do your table export, schema export, and your table space export or your database export. And then once you export it, how to import it on your target server. Everything we are going to see it based upon the real-time experience. And then how to improve your export and import by parallelism or by excluding your stats. So there are like real-time scenarios, how to improve your export and import performance, that we're going to see it here. And then at the end, we will be covering resume and cover letters, and then followed by your on each and every topic we'll be covering interview questions and answers. But at the end of the course also we'll be sharing some of the generic interview questions and answer. We'll discuss all of them, and then we'll be conducting a mock interview for who are interested to take one-on-one mock interview. So we'll be conducting on that one. So that's going to be entire course content. What is planned for this particular uh, as a 19C Oracle DBA course. So, and then at the end of this course, we'll be covering some of the advanced topics based upon the interest. So if you're interested in OEM or wallets or securities or some of the data guard broker or advanced rack internal concept. So these are like extra topics. So that will be covered at the end of the course. That's going to be your extra classes based upon the interest. If anybody interested, so we'll group together and then we'll cover some of these extra topics. Not only these, like if you're interested in any other topic you are willing to learn, so we'll group all together who are interested, and then we'll take it as a extra and external classes. That's apart from what is scheduled course. Right. So any questions so far? If you have, like, feel free to ping me here and then I can clarify on that. Uh, and then I hope, like, if you are already registered, that's well and good. If you're not, then go to this particular link or go to my blog and then go ahead and register for by clicking this register button. You can go ahead and provide your details and register. And once you do registration, and you have to make a payment and then send me a screenshot, then I will add you into our dedicated WhatsApp group, and then we'll take it from there. And then the course fees is going to be 10K for the database course, And then as I said, like it's going to be like every day 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's a course duration, course hours, and then duration is going to be 30 to 45 days. So the course is going to be on weekdays, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. IST. And then weekends, no classes, Saturday, Sunday, no classes. This is going to be approximately 30 to 45 days is a course duration. Right, so we have, if you want more detail, go to my blog, and then the lot of technical contents in my blog. You can feel free to read all of this content. So you have database, upgrade, migration, data guard architecture, ASM, Exadata. So you can feel free to read my blog. There are some technical contents which will help you for your day-to-day activities. That's just an intro on that. And then we have a dedicated we have like a public YouTube channel. I think everyone are aware of that. There are a lot of videos or contents are uploaded. So feel free to watch my YouTube channel in order to get a new experience on the DBA world. There are a lot of content, and you can go to your playlist. And then I do have like different playlist for each and every topics. You can feel free to watch those videos. And then we do have our Telegram group. So if you're not yet joined our Telegram group, you can feel free to join our Telegram group. So a lot of technical discussion we will discuss on the Telegram group. So you can feel free to join our Telegram group, and then you can post any queries on that. Right. So I already created a WhatsApp group for this particular batch, and then I have added most of the people who are registered for my course. So if you want to continue with the course, and feel free to make a payment and send me a screenshot along with your email ID. I'm gonna add you into our WhatsApp group. Right. So and then let's continue. This is the
Hello.
course content what I explained so far.
Hello, Malik.
Yep.
Yep. Good morning. My name is Karan. Actually, I have one query here. You have told now, like we will do the performance tuning on the various part. So
Yep.
I'm just like I want to know like whether we cover like high CPU utilization errors, and I mean the load average is very high. Then what should we do?
Yes,
And
yes.
so
Those are
we'll
the
cover
real
that.
time. Those are the
Mhm.
real time scenarios that will be explained on when it comes to the performance tuning.
Okay.
We'll start with the OS analysis, how
Mhm.
to run your IO top, VM stat, and
Mhm.
how to monitor your load
Mhm.
on your server. And then
Mhm.
once the load is too much high, and then what are the processes are running too much load on the server, and
Mhm.
then how to cancel, how to kill that process based upon analysis. So everything will be covered on that particular topic.
Okay, like deep analysis we will do when we will just face this issue and what are the things, right? So we'll cover all the
Yes,
primary part, right? Okay,
yes, yes,
okay,
yes.
yeah, I'm good, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, going ahead, as I said, like you'll be having your the moment you make a payment and uh, register for this course, you'll be getting access on Google Drive, and then you'll be get the moment you get your Google Drive access, you'll get access on all of these topics here. The moment you go inside your course material, this is what the presentation what I'm going to explain. This is the master project PPT what I'm going to use it for my entire course. So whatever you're seeing here, this is the presentation what I'm using it for this entire course. So you can go ahead and download this. You'll be having access on this Google Drive, and you will see each and every day topic here. And then there's a directory called daily logs. So every day, whatever command I'm going to execute on the lab, so everything will be captured and uploaded to daily logs. And you can go and feel free to read this log. For example, if I open this one, so I'm going to say this is my previous batch. So whatever command I'm going to run it on the lab, so everything will be captured here. You can feel free to use these logs to for your practice. And then if you go to recordings is the one every day whenever I cover a daily recordings. So that day itself, the recording will be uploaded to that drive. You can go ahead and watch it again. And then if you come to ready VMs and ISO, there is already ready-made VMs are available. You just need to download this ISO, download this VMs, and you can use it in your VMware virtual box. These are like ready VMs are already available. If you want to install fresh, I'm going to show you how to install. You can use that one. Or if you want to, your VM crashed or you want to just download, you can just download this VM and you can use it in your virtual box. And then there are specific documents for your DRs, export, import, and lab exercise. As I said, each and every topic, each and every section, like for example, lab 9, that is your ninth topic. So you can just open that lab exercise. So you will have your uh, the lab command. You can just copy and you can run it on your lab. So these are your lab commands or lab exercise. Everything will be ready here, like create user, test identified by test one, grant, all those lab commands are already available here. You can use this lab exercise, or if you don't want to use this lab exercise, you can go to our daily logs, and our daily log will contain all the command what I'm going to run it on my lab. So you're going to use this with the output here, and when it go to lab exercise, you will lab exercise, you will have your uh, all the lab exercise and extra commands and all other things. You can make use of this lab exercise or your daily logs. And then already downloaded and uploaded all the softwares here, whatever needed for this course. You can feel free to go here and download it. As and when I can explain, you can go and download this. And if I go to this particular, this is the master PPT, what I said, this is the only PPT I'm going to use it for entire course. So if I go here, see, I can see I have attached this lab 0 here. If you just open this lab, and you will see that what are the commands, whatever needed for this lab. And if I go further here, and I have attached all those labs, whatever needed here, for example, lab 1. So this is my lab 1, how to create users, directories and all. So you can go here and you can use this lab exercise, and you can open this lab 1 here. So whatever labs exercise you're seeing here, all those lab exercise, you can see it here as well. So either you can use only this PPT, that's more than enough because it's already attached with all the lab exercise, or you can go ahead and refer the lab exercise from this particular uh, of, this particular directory here. That both are going to same, right? And then there are some specific patching documents, and there are some other tools what are needed. Your SQL developer, Putty and MobaXterm or any desk or Winscp, which are needed. I'm going to explain when we need to use these softwares and all. I'm going to explain here. And some of the performance tuning specific documents. And as I said, like these are ready VMs, and then everyday recording will be uploaded here, and your RMN specific extra topic will be uploaded here, and some of the shell scripting and automation script will be uploaded here, and some of the SQL notes and SQL basics will be uploaded here, and some of the upgrade specific documents are uploaded here. And then you will see also the previous batch recordings. All those previous batch recordings, you will see it as a, these are going to be just a duplicate recordings of your whatever you're seeing here. So you'll go and then you can refer those previous batch recordings. It's just going to be same topics. You will see it as a duplicate extra topics. And then also you will be getting uh, ebooks. There are like plenty of ebooks I uploaded here, and some of the notes what I written here. So if you go here, there are like so many ebooks, so you can go ahead and feel free to read all of them. There's so many, but yeah, it's subjected to uh, like some of the Linux fundamentals, Oracle practice code ebook. For example, if I open this ebook, so this is going to be your uh, real time commands, how we're going to execute and all those things, right? So you can refer all of these ebooks, and you can make use of them. And there are some extra classes, whatever requested, everything is going to be taken and then uploaded here. And some of the interview questions and answers, everything will be uploaded here. You can get access on all of them, interview questions and answer. And some of the in my entire career, I used around I built around 1,000+ automation script for our day-to-day monitoring. So everything will be uploaded here, monitoring and automation script. You will go here and you can see there are like thousands of automation script here. You can feel free to go through each of them, and then see what it's going to do, and then how you're going to make use of that in your lab exercise. Or gid.sql, you can see my.sql, mypid.sql. These are the, in my entire career, like whatever the script I used so far, like everything will be like written here. So you can go ahead and run all this script in your lab exercise and see how, what's the use case of this one. and then you can make use of your day-to-day activities. So this all the monitoring script will get access on that. And there's the Oracle workshop for the other previous batches. Again, this also will get access on that. And there's some rack basics, whatever covered here, some rack and other topics, you will get access on all of this. Like these are like, it's all subjected to how much time you have to read through all of these videos, watch through all of these videos. So anyway, like once you get a registration of this course, you will get access on all of them. So you can feel free to go through all around and then see what's the content, how it looks, and when to make use of them. So you can just feel free to play around this. Great. So let's continue here. What's planned for today? That's what lab exercise and workbook and material, everything will get it here. And then quickly we can touch base today this environment setup, and then tomorrow we'll see the networking concept. Right. So where, like for example, you want to install your database software, right? You want to build your own database. Where you want to install it? Like there are various flavors. Oracle will provide you the software for your Windows, and software for your Linux, and software for your RHEL, software for your Ubuntu, and software for your IBM ISO, or software for your Solaris. These are like various operating system, right? So whatever I'm showing, this is going to be my Windows system. And then if you install your database on Windows, it become your database on Windows. If you install your database on Linux, it become your database on Linux. If you install your database on Solaris, that's going to be your Solaris database. So basically this course I'm going to teach you on Linux platform. I'm not going to teach you on Windows platform. So if you want to practice, you can go ahead and download database software for your Windows, and you can install your database software for Windows. So basically this course is purely based upon Linux. So I'm going to teach everything on the Linux platform. So when it comes to Linux, where I can download my Linux ISO image, as I said, if I list it down, uh, the OS flavors, you can have your Windows. Windows is like everyone aware, like we are going to use Windows as a basic platform, and most of our laptop and desktops are, we are all familiar with Windows. If you install your database on Windows, that become your Windows database. And there are a lot of Linux or unique flavors in market. A lot of Linux and Unix. You can install your Linux and Unix like OEL, Oracle Enterprise Linux, or your RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or you can go with Ubuntu, or you can go with Oracle Solaris. So these are like your Linux and Unix platforms. So customer might be having Oracle Enterprise Linux, or customer might be having Oracle Red Hat Linux, sorry, RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or customer or your client might be using Ubuntu or SUSE or your Oracle Solaris. So customer might be having any of these flavors. You will be able to install your database software on these flavors. So I'm going to basically teach on OEL, Oracle Enterprise Linux, because your Oracle Enterprise Linux is freely available. You can download it and you can install it. If you want to install it on RHEL, you don't get freely available ISO images. So you have to pay license to RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and you have to get ISO image from them. So it's not freely available. But when it comes to Oracle, OEL is a Oracle Enterprise Linux. That's a Linux ISO image provided by Oracle, and it will be available freely for educational purpose or your testing or training purpose. You are not officially supposed to use for your businesses, but for a training and your own use. So you can download and you can use that software. So those are like called ISO image. ISO images are nothing but your CDs. Earlier days, we used to install, how you are going to use to install your OS, right? If you want to install your Windows, or you want to install your any of your Linux or Unix platform, we used to have a bootable CD, ISO image, bootable CDs, and we used to insert that CD and we to boot the machine. We have to install the software. So nowadays, it's all become virtual. We have ISO image for your Windows, ISO image for your all the Linux. You can just download those ISO images and you can install your Linux. So question comes where I can download my OEL, Oracle Enterprise Linux. If I go here, this is my one of uh, Linux I installed here. If I do cat etc OS underscore release, OS hyphen release, so that's going to be your Oracle Linux server OEL. So that's going to be 7.9 is the latest version I installed here. So question comes where I can download these ISO images, right? For RHEL and other things, your RHEL, Ubuntu, and Oracle Solaris, these are like not freely available. You have to get a license on that. Whereas your OEL, you can freely download it from your Oracle e-delivery. So we can download your OEL ISO image from your Oracle e-delivery. You can simply go to your uh, uh, let me see here. You can go to Oracle e-delivery. Just search for Oracle e-delivery. That will take you to Oracle Software Delivery Cloud. You can go on that and you can create your own account. You can use your Gmail and you can create your own account. Once you create, just click on that. It'll ask a couple of questions like username, password, and your email ID and all those things. You can feel free to go ahead and create your account. That's like freely available. So this is going to be your you can create a free account. So once you create your account, go on sign in and you can use your whatever the personal email ID you used, you can use that one. I'm going to use my personal email ID to log into that particular cloud. So once you log into that e-delivery and you can search for your Oracle Linux, you can search for your Oracle Linux and then click on search. You can see there are various flavors of your Oracle Linux, starting with Oracle Linux 4, Oracle Linux 5. In 4 and 5 and 6, all they have some minor version, 5.5, 5.6, 5.8, 5.9, all these things. You can download either Oracle Linux 5, 6, Oracle Linux 7, or latest Oracle Linux 8.5. So everything is available. So this course I'm going to purely teach on Oracle Linux 7.9. So go ahead and download your 7.9. Just click on this Oracle Linux 7.9 here. The moment you click here, it's gonna go and add it to your cart here, Oracle Linux 7.9. And then you can continue with that. And then you will see Oracle Linux 7.9. And then you can choose your platform x86-64. That's your architecture, x86-64, and continue. And you'll see license agreement. This license agreement, you can just click OK and continue. And then you'll see these many ISO images here, but we don't need to download all of these ISO images. You can just read through this, each of them. Oracle Linux 7 update 9 and your boot ISO image and your boot ISO image. And these boot ISO images are needed. Like these are very small file. You can see like 600 MB, 600 MB. These are like boot ISO image. In case your whatever like Linux I installed here, if this Linux corrupted, I want to rebuild this VM. So I need to make use of this boot ISO image. This like number 2 and number 3. These are like boot ISO image. So which are needed for in order to recover your VM. When you install your VM, you want to recover that, you can use this boot ISO image. So these are not needed for us. And these are your DVD1 and DVD2. These are also not needed for us, DVD1 and DVD2. And this is going to be your very small file, your my Windows compatibility driver software. This is also not needed. So you can go ahead and download this very first one. That is a 4.5 GB. That is your actual ISO image. With this ISO image, you are going to install this particular Linux VM here. So go ahead and download this particular first ISO image. Just click on this ISO image. It's going to start downloading it locally on your laptop. You can see this is going to, it's going to ask you to where to save this particular. I already downloaded that. I'm not going to download it again. So this is the one you have to download it, which is a 4.5 gig. And then the second and third, it's for your boot images. Why we need this boot images in order to, if this particular VM, whatever I'm showing here, this is my Oracle server VM. If this server crashes, in order to get this VM back online, I need this boot ISO files in order to get that VM back online. And then these are like your DVDs, so not needed. We're not going to use the DVDs. And this is your Windows, Microsoft Windows compatibility driver. We're not going to use this one as well. So very first one, we're going to download and we're going to use it for installation of my Linux. So if I go here on our Google Drive, this is your ISO image, ready VMs and ISO images. So I already downloaded that ISO file here. You can see 9690-01.iso. If I go back here, 9690-01.iso. This is the one which I already downloaded here, and then I already uploaded here. You can download your ISO image from here, or you can download it from your Oracle delivery. So that's where, like, that's how you can download your ISO image. And again, coming to other Linux flavors, your RHEL and other things. If I go here, RHEL, Ubuntu, Oracle Solaris, or SUSE, or whatever the Unix and Linux platform, those are like not freely available. You have to get a license from them, or to download from them. So, but whereas from Oracle VL site, you can download your Oracle Enterprise Linux freely available. You can use it for educational or training purpose. Right, then once you get your ISO image, and you can go ahead and you can build your Linux box. Once you build your Linux box, you have to install your Oracle database software. Then where to download your Oracle software? That's the next question, right? We can again, Oracle softwares are all available on the same e-delivery site. You can go back to the same e-delivery site. I'll go back here. I'll go back. I'll go back. I'll go back. And then when you write here, like when you search your Oracle Linux, instead of Oracle Linux, you can search for Oracle database. You can search for your Oracle database, and then you can search it. You will see all the Oracle database versions here. Oracle database 21C is the latest one. And then you can see 18C. You can see all your 11G, and go down and you can see your Oracle 12C. And you will see all the Oracle softwares, Oracle various versions are all available on the same e-delivery site. You can download that. If you want specific Oracle database 19C, this course is purely based upon 19C. You can search for Oracle database 19C. And then you will see Oracle database 19.3. That's a software what you need to download. Oracle database 19C, Oracle database 19C, that is 19.3, Oracle database in memory, and database vault. So this is a software. You need to click on that one. That's going to add to cart here. You can see now it's become two. One is your Linux and one is your Oracle software. And go ahead and continue. And then I'm going to remove this Linux one. I don't want to continue with Linux one. So this Oracle database 19C, you have three patches, three softwares we got here. One is your database software, and one is your client software, one is your grid infrastructure software. This grid software is needed for your ASM installation, and your database software is needed for your database creation. So you want to download this database software, Oracle database software 19.3, Oracle grid infrastructure 19.3. These are the two software you want to download. Just uncheck this Oracle client. We don't need that. So just checkbox this Oracle database, and then Oracle database grid infrastructure. Checkbox these two, and then select the architecture. That's your, you can see various architecture, your HP, your IBM AIX, your Oracle Solaris, or your Microsoft Windows, or your Linux. So which platform you're going to install your database? If you're going to install on Windows, you can go ahead and download it for your Windows. And if you're installing it for AIX, you can go ahead and download for AIX. So as I said, this course is going to be purely based upon Oracle Enterprise Linux. I'll go ahead and select this Linux x86-64. I'm going to select this x86-64. That's a Linux flavor. So whatever this database software and your grid software, I'm going to download it for Linux. So I selected Linux x86-64, and then I'm going to continue this one. And again, license agreement, terms and conditions, click OK, continue. And then you will see this one, the GIF software here. Your GIF software for database 19.3 and GIF software for your grid infrastructure. These are the two GIF software. You can go ahead and click on these two software. It will gonna download it locally. You can see this is GIF software where I'm gonna save this one. If you want, you can say I'm not going to download it because I already downloaded that. So go ahead and download both the software. We need both the software because we're going to install ASM. We're going to install bit database. We need both the software. Go ahead and download both the software. That's where you're going to download your Oracle software. Whatever that Oracle software or your Oracle Enterprise Linux, both we're going to download it from Oracle eDelivery. Right. So these are like your software where you're going to download it. So we have lab exercise. You can same thing, whatever like I said so far, go to edelivery.com, use your email IDs and password, and you can download it, your virtual box or your 11G software, 12C software or 19C software or 21 software, whatever the Oracle database software you want. Right now we are teaching only on 19C. You can go ahead and download this 19C. If you want to practice 12C, you can go ahead and download this 12C and install it and practice it. And then Oracle VL, I said like VL, Oracle Enterprise Linux 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all are available. We are going to teach on Oracle Enterprise Linux 7. You can go ahead and download Oracle Linux 6, 5, and then try to install that, how the installation goes and what's the difference you can see it. But right now we're going to teach on Oracle Linux 7 and Oracle Database 19C. Right, and then these are your basic ISO image you got and basic Oracle software you got. Once you install your Oracle software and ISO image, you can able to create your database. And there's something called Oracle patches. As I said, Oracle used to release patches on quarterly basis. Oracle releases patches on Jan. Oracle releases patches on April, and Oracle releases patches on July and then October. These are the 4 quarters: Jan, April, July, and October. And then these patches are not freely available. In order to download these patches, you should have Oracle licensing. And without licensing, you cannot download these patches. So that's a very, very strict on that one, because those are the security patches. Those are not freely available from Oracle side. So in order to do a practice on patches, you have to get a Oracle licensing in order to download those patches. So I already downloaded those patches and uploaded here. If I go here, softwares and patches. So I have April 2021 patch, and then you can go ahead and that you can use that patch for practice. So these are like not freely available. So for that, you have to go into your something called support.oracle.com. So you have to go inside your support.oracle.com. That's where the licensing comes into picture. If you want to download these patches, you have to get the licensing. You have to register for Oracle and you have to get a license from Oracle, and then download those patches. Those are like not freely available. So I'll just going to log in with my wait a second. Yeah, I logged in with my personal ID. I'll sign out here. I'll log into my Oracle support with my registered email ID, and then I'm going to show you that how it looks. Give me a second. So any questions so far, whatever we covered, feel free to stop me anytime. Like you can ask any questions. Right, let me see here.
Yeah, so one question.
Yeah.
Sir, in this course, are we going to cover only for the standalone databases or for the rack as well?
No, it's only standalone, not the rack. Rack is a separate course.
Okay.
Yeah, the standalone with ASM. So whatever we cover is standalone with ASM.
Okay.
Right. So once you log in with your support.oracle.com, that's a support credential. That's where the licensing comes into picture. This is support.oracle.com feel how the moment you log in. I'm sure like most of the DBAs who are working for any clients or any customer, you will be having your own Oracle site access. Any critical issues you hit in your day-to-day basis on your support, you're going to raise a case with Oracle. Like, you're going to raise a service request here. You're going to raise a case. So I'm going to go to this Oracle support portal at the end of this course, how to raise a case with Oracle, how to follow up with them. I'm gonna share that one in the later part. But coming to this patches here, you can see patches and updates. You have to go here, patches and updates, and you have to download those quarterly patches. You can search for that patch and you can search it, and you can download that quarterly patches. I'm gonna cover that patches in a bit later here now. And now we got our ISO image here, and you want to install that ISO image. Where you are going to install that ISO image? You want some interface to install your ISO image. So for that, we have something called VMware Workstation and Oracle VirtualBox. So I strongly recommend to go ahead and download this Oracle VirtualBox, not the VMware Workstation, because VMware Workstation has a licensing comes into picture. You have to 30 days is the trial period they will give you. After the 30-day trial period, this VMware Workstation will expire. You have to get a license from your VMware vendor. So if you go with Oracle VirtualBox, that's freely available, no need of licensing. You can go ahead and download that, and you can install that one. So I think I already uploaded that both the software here. Okay, you can go to this. Where is that? Give me a second. Okay. DBMs. Okay, other patching tools. Okay, I have not uploaded them, so I'm going to upload it here. What I'm going to teach here, either this ISO image, whatever you downloaded, that ISO image, you can install it on your VMware Workstation. I think pretty much everyone are aware of that. This is a hypervisor. VMware Workstation is the hypervisor, and Oracle VirtualBox is also a hypervisor. On these two software, you're going to install your ISO image. So if I go here on Google, just go into Google, you can search your VMware Workstation, and you'll see desktop hypervisor pro. You can go on that, or you can download that hypervisor. So this is going to be like only 30 days is the trial period. You're not going to get more than 30 days. So whereas if you go to your Oracle VirtualBox, that's a freely available. You can search for Oracle VirtualBox, and then you can search for your VirtualBox. Latest one is 6.2. You can just go ahead and download this. This is freely available. You can download it for your Windows host. So that's you're going to download. Once you download that, you can go ahead and install that particular software. Once you install, you will get. Let me minimize. You'll get this one, Oracle VirtualBox. So this is what very useful. You're going to install your VM on top of your VirtualBox. So once you install that Oracle VirtualBox, open that, and you will see your VirtualBox, and you will see this VirtualBox interface, and you can go ahead and create your own VM. And then on top of that VM, you're going to install your any database software. Right. So that's a quick intro of how to download, where to download, what all softwares are downloaded. So coming to your ISO image, we are going to download. I'm just going to put it here. We're going to download ISO, that is OEL 7.9. And coming to your database software, DB software, we're going to install 19C. We're going to download 19C software. And then coming to your Oracle patches. So Oracle patches, that I will download it from Oracle support.oracle.com, support.oracle.com. So you can download patches. As I said, I'll repeat once again. We have patches, Oracle quarterly releases patches from Jan, April, July, and October. These are the 4 quarters Oracle will releases, and we can download any one of that. So we'll go with the latest patch. That's October patch, and we will practice the patching exercise, how to apply that October patch on your grid home, on your database home. So I'll download that, and I can provide the access on that. You can practice that one, Oracle patches. And coming to your VMware Workstation, so we have something called VMware Workstation and Oracle VirtualBox. So VMware Workstation, we are not using it. We are not using this one because this needs a licensing. Oracle VirtualBox, we will use this particular Oracle VirtualBox for installation of our Linux. So this VirtualBox or Workstation, these are like called hypervisors. Without this hypervisor, you cannot install your Linux server. So in order to install your Linux server, you need either VMware Workstation or Oracle VirtualBox. These are called your hypervisors. It means on your laptop, on your Windows laptop or on your Windows desktop, you're going to install this hypervisor. On top of this hypervisor, with the help of this hypervisor, you're going to install ISO image, and you can make that as a separate Linux box. Right, once you download this VirtualBox and install that, so I have this particular administration guide here. If you open this one, whatever I explained so far, everything I given it in a screenshot. I'm going to show you that one. Just right, let me expand this one. Right, let's go back here. Let's these are the brief introduction what I explained so far, and these are our course content, and these are like advanced topics what we discussed, and this is the environment setup what we just covered. You are downloading software, setting up your workstation, installing your Linux and other tools. So you can go to your edelivery.com and search for your Oracle Linux, or you can search for your Oracle database, and you will see all this content. You can add to cart, click on those, and then continue, and you will see your Linux, you will see your database, whatever needed, you can just click on those ISO or zip files, it will get downloaded. And you can select the platform and click on the license agreement, and those then download those softwares. And then how to download the patches, as I said, like, for the patches, you don't have access because that's where Oracle needs licensing. You have to go to oraclesupport.com. That's where I showed you here. This is your Oracle support. And then, as I said, Oracle will release patches on quarterly basis, Jan, April, July, and October. These are the any one quarter patch you can download. And then you can use this document, like, if I go here, critical patch update. If I go here on this MOS support.oracle.com, and then I can download instead of April, latest one is October. I can put October. And then you will see this particular master note for that October patching program, patching. Right, so critical patch update. Still it's loading here. I downloaded, like, you can search for your critical patch update, and then you can download that patch. Right, so these patches I can provide you for the practice. You can see, right, critical patch update program October 2021 patch availability document. Click on that master document, and you can go ahead and download the patches. So you can see here, right, these are like very huge document. Whatever needed, you can just download it. I'll go to Oracle database, and you can see this 3.1.6 Oracle database. Click on that. So these are like Oracle database 21C, 19C, 12C, all these versions. You can go to this 19C one, and you can download these patches. These are like patches, you can see, right? This is your OJVM patch, and this is your database patch here. You can database release. This is for your database, and this is for your grid. You can go ahead and download. I can explain this patching when it comes to the patching part, when we go to that patching. So I'm going to explain more on that on this particular blog. So these patches I already downloaded and kept it, so you can make use of them for the patching exercise. Right, so you can go to this patch availability document, go to this section 3.1, and especially in that 3.1.5, 3.1.6, or 3.1.4, that's your Oracle database, and then go and download those patches. So I can explain that when it comes to the patching section of this course. I'm going to explain more on that patching exercise, how to download and all those things. Right, so these all screenshots are provided here. And then how to download your VMware Workstation. Go ahead and in Google search for VMware Workstation, and then download it. Again, this is only 30 days is a trial period. I don't recommend to go with your VMware Workstation. Rather, you can download your Oracle VirtualBox. You can search Oracle VirtualBox on Google, and you can go ahead and download that Oracle VirtualBox. And then this is freely available, no need of license, and we're going to use that VirtualBox. And then once your VirtualBox are installed, you can go ahead and install your Linux. So that's where your VMware Workstation or Oracle VirtualBox. It's just an ISO image. Once you download it, you can just double click and it will get installed. It's as good as you're installing your any software on your Windows box. Once you install, you will see your Oracle VirtualBox. Any challenges on installation of your VirtualBox, feel free to ping me. I can assist you on that. Once you install your VirtualBox, you have to create your Linux. You have to create your 7.9 ISO image, whatever ISO image you downloaded. You have to install on top of your VirtualBox. So here, like, this is the Oracle VirtualBox I downloaded and installed. I can just click on this add button here. I can add if I have already available the ISO image. So if I go here, I already uploaded like ready VMs. You can see ready VMs. If you download this particular zip files or this OA file, you can just export them here. Like, you can just import. It'll ask for your OA file. Like, you can just download this OA file and you can pass that OA file here. That's going to create your VM ready here. So if you want to create your own VM, you just click on this create new, and you can provide your Oracle Lab 1. Oracle Lab 1, you can just provide your Oracle any name and where you want to download your Oracle Lab 1. Just download it. Where you want to create your C drive, D drive, wherever you want, you can provide that path. And then go on next. And how much memory you want to provide. Based upon whatever the memory available, you can provide 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB. Provide whatever the memory for that particular VM and go next. And then you have 3 options here. Create a virtual disk now and do not add a virtual disk. So I'll go with the default option, create a virtual disk now. And then you can go with the VDI virtual disk image. I'll go with the VDI virtual disk image. And then you can see dynamic allocation, not the fixed size. You can go with the dynamic allocation. And then you can see how much size I want to give. Like I can give a 50 GB is a size I'm going to give it for this VM. Right. So this particular VM is a setting is ready. You have to still install the VM. So I'll just go ahead and click on this setting here for this particular Oracle Lab 1 VM. So some settings you have to do it in the general section. Go to advanced. This clipping you have to do bidirectional. Right. So on the general advanced setting, you have to do this bidirectional. Right. So that's one thing. And go to system. You can remove this fluffy and you can bring it down. First, you can make it optical drive first option and hard disk as a second option. And then processor, if you have like more processor, you can increase the processor. If you don't have a processor in your laptop, you can keep it as a 1 as a default. If you have like more processor, you can increase it to 1 or 2. And this one acceleration, let's leave it blank as it is. And in display, I always prefer to go with the VBox VGA. So I always prefer to go with the VBox VGA. That's a default. That's a recommended setting you can do. And remote and recording, just leave it blank. And storage, leave it blank. Audio, leave it blank as it is. Networking. So here it's the interesting part. So I always enable this adapter 1, adapter 2. I'll enable 2 adapters. Adapter 2, I'll make it as a NAT adapter or like make it as a internal network. Or adapter 1, you can make it as a bridge adapter. So you can just repeat once again. I'll enable this adapter 1 and adapter 2. Adapter 1, I'll make it as a bridge adapter, and adapter 2, I can make it as a internal network, or you can go with the NAT adapter, whatever you feel. You can go with a NAT or internal, anything doesn't matter. But adapter 1, make it as a bridge adapter. And serial port and USB, no need anything. Shared folder, you want to share your C drive or the software from your Windows drive to your Linux. You can go ahead and choose your. I'll go ahead with C drive, Malik, whatever the software I have it here. I'm going to map that software drive to my Linux. Right. So whatever the C Malik software, I just mounted on my VM. Right. So these are the recommended settings: general and some network and some shared drive. All this, like, do these settings and click OK. Once you've done this one, this setting is done. You have to install your ISO image now. So just start this particular VM. It'll ask you to upload your ISO image wherever you downloaded that ISO image. So it'll ask you to upload that ISO image. Right. So let's go here. The moment you start that ISO image, it will browse your ISO image wherever you downloaded and pass that ISO image. Install. The second option is test this installation media. I'm not going to go with the test. I'll actually go with the install this Linux 7.9. Just click on this enter. It'll start with the installation process. So it'll start with your installation of your Linux Oracle Lab 1. It's going to start with installation of your Linux 7.9. So any questions so far on this installation process.
Can you please share the document where we can follow and install all like RHEL, VM and the ISP?
Yeah, this all it's all available here. Like the moment, as I said, right? Like you had to refer, go to this Oracle course, and you have to refer this Oracle database course. That's a PPT. I'm referring it here. Everything is attached to that master PPT. The moment I double click on this one, the course, the document will get open here. So you have to refer this single PPT. That's your database course. Everything is attached to in that particular document itself. It's a single document, you can refer it. You don't need to go anywhere and you don't need to search in this particular Google Drive. So just refer this single PPT and it has everything attached to that one. So just you can use that one. Right, so this will take, where is that? Let's go, let's complete that installation. Then it'll ask you to, wait a second. This will take a lot of the moment. One of the criteria for this one, right? Like once I save my VM, I cannot operate anything here in this particular VM. So that's where it's a limitation from the Zoom side. Like I cannot proceed with the installation. The moment I click inside this VM, the installation will hang. So I'm just gonna get my vSphere VM setting here. Give me a second. I can show you over there how that installation goes. I can guide you through this one. Give me a second here. And there are a couple of questions, recommended questions in the chat here. Recommended memory size for 19C. So if you make 8 GB is the recommended one, what they suggest. So if you have like 16 GB laptop, you can provide 8 GB. And if you have 8 GB laptop, you can provide around 4 to 6 GB as a RAM. Then only the installation will go fine. Otherwise, your installation will take longer time. So minimum you can go with the 4 GB or 6 GB for installation. Or if you're stuck with the installation process, you just go ahead and download that ready VM. You can see already ready VMs are uploaded here. You can use that one. So if you want to practice this installation, you can provide 8 GB RAM, or if you don't have 8 GB RAM, you can go ahead and provide 6 GB RAM, and then you can start with the installation. All right, so let me quickly get that installation here. Give me a second. Right, so one more questions. Recording session will be provided. Yeah, so recording, as I said, like every day, definitely recording will be uploaded on the same day itself. And in case if you are unable to attend the class, or you missed the class due to some work or some conflicts, you can feel free to go ahead and refer that on the day itself. And then if you don't see it, you can always ping in our WhatsApp group. So probably like the moment I used to upload it on the everyday basis. The moment the class completes, I'll go ahead and upload the recording session, and you can feel free to use that. Right, let me quickly give me a second here. I can get I'll show you that complete installation in a minute.
Malik,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah, please.
Actually, grid installation won't be part of this, right?
It's a standalone ASM installation is part of this, but your rack setup is not part of this. It's a standalone with a single node.
Okay. Then this system having any issues like multiple, I mean, the space issue comes, we have to do one by one if I'm trying with a different Oracle Linux version and all.
No, you have to download it, and once the practice is done, you have to delete it. Like how much space you have. Like minimum, you need like 100 GB space on your C drive or D drive. wherever you're installing your OS. Like if you don't have that, I think 100 GB is more than enough.
Yeah,
Like, you know.
that's there. No, I'm asking simultaneously. If I'm asking, like,
Yeah, you cannot run the VMs parallelly. Like, you know, for example, if you have like 8 GB and then you created like 2 VMs of 6 GB each, you cannot start both the VMs. You have to start one VM at a time and you have to practice it, and you have to close it and start the other VM.
Okay, fine.
Because that's the limitation from the from the memory what we have it on the laptop, right? Like you have to very careful on that. If you start 2 VMs, your laptop will get hanged.
Okay.
Right. So let me get this web console here. Right. So the moment the installation screen comes, you can select 7.9. That's your installation. And this the second one, test your media. We're not going to do it because that's the ISO image what we downloaded. I'll directly go to install Oracle Linux 7.9. Just click on the enter on that one, and then it'll ask you that the next screen, like it will ask you to provide your username and passwords, and select the partitions and all other things. You have to provide all of them, and then your VM will be get installed. So this is my web console. This is my cloud web console. I'm going to install on cloud web console because that's a very much faster. If I show it on here on this particular virtual box, it will be like very slow, and then I cannot on the Zoom session I cannot show the installation. The moment I click inside this one, my mouse cursor will get stuck. I cannot move on this one. That's when I brought here my web console. So the moment you get this welcome to Oracle Linux 7.9, you can go to select whatever the language you want. Like English is the preferred one. Go and continue, and then it will do some checks before it proceed further. Your date and time. So go ahead and change your date and time. So I'll select India. Okay. It's like Asia Kolkata time zone, and keyboard is English. Language support is English, and installation source is your ISO image. So you can see this ISO Oracle Linux 7.9. And then software selection is very important here. There are like, if you select this minimal infrastructure, files, basics, virtual, you don't get a GUI mode. You have to go with a server with a GUI mode. You have to select this server with a GUI mode. Let's make sure that you can select the server with GUI mode. If you select any of them, you don't get a GUI mode. And then once you select this server GUI mode, come down here. There's some package that your development tools and your compatibility libraries. These two packages, extra packages, you need to check box. Once you select your server with GUI mode, you can make sure that compatibility libraries and development tools. So you select these two and click OK. Right, so that will check for some compatibility here. Right, so once that is done, click on this your installation destination, and that's your 50 GB disk what you selected, and then I will configure my partitions. So you select this, I will configure my partitions, and then click done, and then it'll ask for the partitions. So just add the partitions here, and first thing is your swap. So if you given a 4 GB RAM, you have to give the swap as double GB or double of that, like 8 GB. If you given 8 GB as your RAM, you can provide 16 GB as your swap. Swap should be always double of your RAM. So provide, like I given swap, I given memory 8 GB, I'll go with the swap as a 16 GB. That's the first partition. And the next one is your boot partition /boot. And then I always go with 1 GB as your boot partitions. And then rest of the things I'll add it to root file system / I'll just don't mention anything. Whatever the left out, everything I can mention it to root partitions. You can see like out of 50 GB, it took 14.9 for my swap. It took approximately 1 GB for my boot, and rest of the remaining 35 GB it allocated to my root partitions. If you want to create your U01 or U02 or other mount point, you can go ahead and out of this 35 GB, you can divide like 10 GB, 20 GB for each partition. But that's not needed. Like, these are the 3 minimum partitions are needed. One is your swap, one is your boot, and one is your /root partitions. Once you create these partitions, that's more than enough. Go ahead and click OK. And then accept all these changes. And then the host name and the networking is very, very important. You can provide here host name, whatever the name you given, Oracle lab1.localdomain.com. Oracle lab1.localdomain.com, and then apply. This is your name of the host. Very, very important. If you don't give, we can change the name after the installation, so it's available. So you can provide whatever the name you given, Oracle lab1.localdomain.com, apply and click done. Right, and then click on begin installation. So that will take you to the the installation screen that will provide, that will install more than 1500 plus RPMs, and then your VM will be ready. And then make sure that you set your root password here. Click on that root, and then you can provide your root password here. Right, so it's going to install 1469 RPMs. Once this RPM is done, and then your VM will be online, and then you can try accessing using your Putty session, or using your the GUI mode, or the Putty session, or the your MobaXterm. This is your MobaXterm, and this is your Putty session. You can connect whatever this IP get assigned. You can connect using your Putty or MobaXterm or your GUI mode. GUI mode you have to open here. That will connect. The Putty and these two are like your command line interface. If I connect here, these are like already installed VM. I'm just going to show. I'm showing it here. Right. So this is your Putty connections, and this is your MobaXterm connection. So these are like your command line interface. And if you open your VM here and start it, it will be like your GUI mode. So most of the time we will not be having a GUI access in industry, because your servers will be somewhere in your remote data center. Will be accessing via Putty session or MobaXterm. Right. So this will take a few minutes, and then yeah, meantime, like we will continue with the other, like I'll show you this once the installation is done. We'll come back to this one. Meantime, I can show you some other topics. Okay, this one. Coming to this file system, this just an intro, because it's not a DBA job, but it's a worth of having a knowledge before we proceed with our actual classes. So we know that different in Linux and Windows, we have a file system. We have in Windows, we have a C drive, we have a D drive, and we have like whatever the drive you can partition, you will see all those drives. And then in Linux, we have multiple drives or partitions. You can do df-h. You will see multiple mount points here. All these are called partitions. So file system partitions. Earlier we had something called FAT. That's a file allocation table. In Windows, we had a FAT. We used to format using FAT 12, FAT 16, or FAT 32. That's a old legacy model. And later Windows, they came up with the NTFS. That's a new technology file system. Nowadays, whatever the partitions you will see on Windows, everything will be on NTFS. That's a new technology file system. They will format any drive. If they want to format, they will format with NTFS file system. Whereas in Linux, whatever the file system, whatever the mount point, whatever the disk you're going to add it, will be format using ext2, ext3, ext4, JFS, and XFS. These are the supported file system what we're going to format. If we add a new disk to my VM, I'm going to format with any one of this file system. And then once the format is done, we're going to mount it as a mount point, whatever you're seeing here, mount point. Once the format, we do the disk format, we'll mount them as a file system. So what's the difference between FAT and NTFS? Both are same. They made some enhancement here. In NTFS, they included journaling. Journaling is nothing but it's a kind of a logging. The moment you place any Word document or any files in your C drive or D drive, there's a one particular log file which holds that pointer to that particular file, and which will makes your opening and closing and writing anything into that files. It will make much more faster. So that's where NTFS is become very, very famous, and that's where they're using it in all the Windows later versions. And similarly in Linux, we have ext2, 3, 4, 5. ext2 is like extended file system, second extended, third extended, fourth extended. These are like Linux partitions. And same thing like difference between ext2 and your ext3, they included that journaling on the Linux file system. And ext4s, they did a extended storage, means they got some enhancement on those mount points. And the JFS is similar kind of the file system, but which is provided by your IBM. And your ext3, ext2, 3, 4 are like universally used. And then nowadays, like they're using XFS. XFS is like latest release one, latest format, file system formation. Most of the Linux or Unix boxes, either they use ext4 or the JFS. Sorry, XFS. JFS are very rare because that's specific to IBM, and now it is supported with your Linux as well, but it's very limited. So most of the industry, they will use either XFS or the ext4. And there's the official Red Hat site. If you go on this one, they will provide you the limitation, how much is the limitation and how much is the size of each mount point, each of that extension. Like if you go with ext2 and 3, ext2 and 3 started with your RHEL 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's supported, ext2 and 3 are supported till RHEL 8. And ext4 they introduced in RHEL 5 onwards. Prior to RHEL 5, in RHEL 4 and 3, it is not supported. And then if you see that the mount point individual file size, this is the individual file size, and it's a maximum file system size. On the maximum mount point, like if you are ext2 and 3 file system, the maximum file system whatever supported is like 16 terabyte is the maximum one. If you go with the ext4, they are supporting up to 50 terabyte. If you do here, like if I go df.h, so this particular root partition, it is just a 64 GB here. If I want to have like a 10 terabyte, is it possible I can have this root file system as a 10 terabyte? If it is a ext4 file system, you can, like if it is a ext4 file system, you can have up to 50 terabyte mount point. If it is a ext2 and ext3, maximum you have 16 terabyte. So the question comes, I have my database which is of 20 terabyte, and then how can I place my 20 terabyte if my file system is ext3 or ext2? So you have to create a 2 mount points, like you have to create slash /varadata1 slash /varadata2, 16 GB 16 GB, that become your 32 GB. You have to keep some certain data files in that varadata1 and some certain data files on varadata2. If it is your ext2 or ext3 file system. If it is ext4 file system, you can create only one varadata mount point, and you can create that of 50 terabyte. You can keep your entire 20 terabyte in single mount point. So that's advantage of your ext4 file system. ext4, they got some extended storage limit for each mount points. So this is just like, this is not a DBA job, but good to know that how to know that what kind of partitions I have it on my Linux. So there's a file called /cat/etc fs tab, file system tab. You can go ahead and that one, you can see that this file system is, you can see root file system is formatted with XFS file system. XFS is the latest used file system. You may see either ext4, ext3. If you go ahead and if you're not verified, you can go ahead and check on your all the development or production boxes, cat etc fs tab. You will see different mount point. The swap is a different partition. You just ignore that one for time being. Rest other mount point, whatever is thing slash or varadata, vara backup, whatever the mount point you used to see, and next to that you will see ext3, ext4, or ext2, or XFS or JFS. That's the partitions you will used to see it on your Linux box. Right. So that's a partition, like supported Windows partition and Linux partition. And most of the time you will see the JFS or ext4 on your production box. If you are not verified, you go ahead and verify that. And then next topic is like the various locations or various partition names in Linux. So if I go inside slash, if I do ls, there are like so many partitions you to see it. So again, this is all managed by your Linux admin, but uh, as a DBA, it's good to know what's the use case of all of them. There's a root /root partition. The /root is a root directory. You have to do cd/. It will be like your root partition. You can see that's a root partition. Inside root partition, all the directory structure will get started. First, it will start with the root, and inside that root, you will see all those bin, boot, dev, home, and all those partitions. All those partition name you can see it here. The root partition is a major, like it's a the initial branch of my the file system. So any file system created on Linux which will start with a root partition. So root is a major directory. Inside that you will see all of these subdirectories. A bin is a /bin. If I go /bin is all the binary executables. Whatever the command, the ls also is one command, or whatever the software, whatever the binary executable, everything will be coming from your bin directories. So again, like we are not going to use much on this bin. Bin is the one which holds all your binary executables. Boot is the one very important. All your boot drive, like how you see your Windows C drive, all your Windows OS installation is done in C drive. Similarly, boot is the one which holds your boot or grub or install configuration of your Linux files. So if I go inside that, these are your boot configuration file. The moment you start your Linux box, it will read your boot configuration files, that init RMF files or grub files. This is your grub files, and then it will start your VM. So that's very important. Boot files is very important. The moment you do shutdown startup, the first file will be read is your boot files, and then it will start your VM. Otherwise, if you have any corruption in boot, your VM will not start. And dev, any new disk or any external disk you add it, everything will be part of your dev. And dev is like it holds other your devices, external devices, whatever you connect, everything will be holds from your dev. etc is all configuration file. If you see like cd/etc, I have a fs tab, like configuration file, and then I have my vara tab. Everything like all the configuration files, everything you can see it under etc/etc, and do ls. You will see all the configuration files, whether it's a Oracle configuration file or Linux configuration file or any third party or other software configuration file. Everything will be part of your etc that contains all your configuration file. Home directory is for home directory for users. For example, if I go under home, and then we'll see all the users here, like Malik is a users. ls-l, I can see Malik user got created. Like I can see user add. If I create a John, user add. If I do John here, and then I can see the John directory will get created here. I mean, like home directory is a home directory for any users. For example, if I do switch user, SU is for switch user. Switch user, I can connect to Malik. Right now, like root @server name, root is the user. Right now you logged in. If I do switch user Malik, and then now I'm logged in as a Malik user. If I do pwd, I can directly go into home Malik. That's a home directory for all the users. Home is a home directory for all the users. The moment you log in with any user, that will go to his home directory. That will be like home and that username. If I exit, and if I do switch user, if I do John, John, and then do pwd, you can see home John. He will be into his home directory. That is called home directory. /home is a home directory for any user. If you create any user in Linux, and if you log in with that user, that will take you to the home directory. And library is all your library executable files. You will see all the library executable files inside your lib. If I do exit cd/lib, and do ls. All your library executable, everything you can see it under your lib. And there lib64, all the 64 library executable, 64-bit, you will see under lib64. And media is like if you add any DVD, ISO image or CD image, everything will come under your media. So right now media is empty. Like if I go here, media, right now it is like empty. Total files are 0. If you add any ISO image or whatever, like DVDs or CDs, you will come here in this media. And again, MNT is like any mount point. MNT is also empty as of now. And if you want to mount any mount point, you can mostly use this MNT mount point. MNT is also empty always. It will be like empty. If you want to mount any mount point and all those things, temporarily mount point, you can use this MNT mount point. And then opt, like OPT is any third-party software or any agent software. Everything mostly we install on OPT. Right now OPT will be like empty. And if you want to add any add-ons or third-party software or agent, we preferably install under OPT. And /proc is a very important thing. We'll never touch this one. All the running process will be listed here in this proc. Right, you can see all this process, right? Like whatever the running, all this process you will see it under this proc. These are like running process, running services. These are your running process. All the running process will be part of your proc. So we're not going to touch this proc. Yeah, it will be like managed by your, anyway, like it's all managed by your Linux admin, but all your running process will be part of your /proc. It contains the virtual file system, and then all the running process information will be there. SBin is like your system binaries. Whatever this bin executable you see it here in this bin, the same thing. SBin is your system binaries. Okay, then there's a /root partition. /root. This root partition is a root partition for your root user. So if I exit here, and then I can reconnect here with the root user. So I'll just log in with the root, and then I can provide the password for root user. The moment I log in with the root user, if I do pwd, I'll directly go into root. You can see now I logged in as a root user here. And then if I do pwd, present working directory, I am inside my root. So how this home, this like John Malik is a home directory for normal users. For the root user, /root is a home directory for root user. And in Linux, root user is a master user. In database, how DBA system is a master user. Similarly, in Linux, root is a master user. The moment you install any Linux operating system, the root will be the default master user, and it has its own password. The moment you log in with the root user, and you will be directly into /root. /root is the home directory for your root user. You can see this is the home directory for your root user. /root is a home directory for your root user. SRV, like your server data, so we're not going to use that much. Server and sys, all this configuration log files, you will see it under here. And temporary temp is a file which holds your temporary files. Like if you want to create any temporary files, you can go ahead and create under temp. Temp is a temporary location. Whenever there's a system reboot or whenever the space needed, all the temporary files will be automatically get cleaned up. So don't keep anything, any configuration file or any custom file under your temp directory, because temp directory will be regularly cleaned up. So that will be like for your temporary operation only. Any operation, any temporary file you want to create on Linux, you can go ahead and create under temp. And then users, var and swap, like users is like all your user executable file will be part of your /users. If I go /user and do ls, all the user executable file will be part of this user directory. And then var is like all the var log, all the log files you will see. Most of the log files you will see under var log. All the log files, most of the configuration log files, everything you can see it under var log. And swap is if you do df-h, you will see your swap memory, and then see at the same time you will see this. If I go here /swap, right now it's not set up here. Yeah, swap is not set up here. If there's a swap, a partition is set and then mounted, you can see under /. So right now tempfs is the one which is holding all this. Right, so that's pretty much all the partitions what we have it on Linux. Again, no hard and fast rule here. Like, we are not going to manage any of these. Everything will be managed by Linux admin. But we should good to know like what directories, what partitions, what mount point is used for what functionality. Right. So if I go further, let's see the installation part. You'll see most of the time, like, the moment I'll switch back here, like this is my installation screen. So the installation is completed now. It's asking me to reboot the server. Just click on that final reboot, and then your VM will be ready. Once the VM is ready, you can start that VM, and then you can use that VM, and then you can try to access using your MobaXterm or using your Putty session. You can connect, and then you can practice all this command, whatever I'm showing here. You can practice this. Okay, and then the moment the installation done, after reboot, it'll ask for the license. You can go ahead and accept that license. Done. And then network and host name. So already gave Oracle Lab 1 location. Just done. And then yeah, finish it. So that Linux installation is pretty straightforward. It's all GUI based. You can go ahead and just do next, and give the proper information, whatever I showed here. And then that, like, it will take hardly 30 minutes, and then that will be done. So I'm just gonna give the timings, Kolkata, and then skip. And then it'll ask you to create, once the installation is done, it'll ask you to create one mandatory user. So I'm just going to create Malik. I'll provide password for that. Done. So start using your Linux, Oracle Linux. Right. So I'll just close this one. Right. So if I open my terminal, you will see that right now logged in as a Malik user. If I want to go to root user, su root, I need to pass the root password here. Right. So now I logged in with the root user. So now you want to directly log into terminal with the root user, you can directly click on here, and then click on here, and then go to this user here, and then do logout. It will log out from your Malik user, and then you can directly connect with the root user or Oracle user, whatever user you have it, you can directly connect here. Like right now it's listing Malik, you can click on this not listed, and then enter the root user or Oracle user, whatever user you want to log in with that particular user. Right. So it logged in with the root user. Now you can click on this one. You can see now you logged in as the root user. Just go next. Every time, first time you log in with any user, you will see this welcome screen, and then you have to do next and skip. So that's a one way, like you can verify. Click here. You'll see you are logged in as the root user, and then you can open your terminal here. And you can see here you logged in as a root user. You can see ID. ID also will tell you whether you logged into which user. This is like one way you can verify it. And then this is like GUI mode. The moment you open your MobaXterm here, like start it, and it will get open your session here, and then you will see this GUI feel. And then if you want to connect using Putty session or MobaXterm, this Putty session or MobaXterm, and you need to get that IP address. So you can type ifconfig here, and right now it says this is your interface, and it does not have any IP address here. And then what you need to do, you need to click on this application and click on this system tools here and setting, and then go to networking here bottom, and then you can see this is the wired connection, and this is showing offline. Just click on this setting here, and then you can see connect automatically. If you checkbox this one, every time you restart your VM, automatically that will take IP address. If you don't select this one, every time you start your VM, you have to come back here, you have to turn it on. you have to like connected now. It is on now. So you have to every time you have to manually make it on. So instead of that, click on the settings and go here, connect automatically, checkbox this one. Every time you restart your VM, automatically that VM will get IP address. And go to this IPv4, make sure that automatic DHCP allocation is enabled. Apply, click close this one. And now you see when you did IP address, IP config, it did not had any IP address. If you do same thing IP config now, you will see now it has IP, it got IP address 10.38.4.108. So you can use this IP in order to connect to, this is your Oracle Lab 1. So you can use this particular IP. I can just take 10.38.4.108. So if I go here, if I can take a new session here, new SSH session, 10.38.4.108. That's a IP address I got, DHCP IP address. Click OK, and then it will ask you to enter the username and password. You can enter any username, whatever it's available, root or Oracle or Malik, whatever the username. Enter that password, and then you can see right Oracle Lab 1. And if I go back here, the same thing Oracle Lab 1. So this is a GUI mode of connection. Whatever you're seeing here, it's a GUI mode. Most of the industry or IT will not be having a GUI access. Whatever we have it, it's all like command line. So either you can use this MobaXterm to connect, or you can use your Putty session, like Putty session here, and you can take a new session, and you can provide the same IP address, whatever IP address or the host name. Then it will ask you to enter the username and password, root or Malik, Oracle, whatever the username you have it, provide that username and password. So whatever we operate, everything will be on the command line based. Right, so that's a quick installation. Any questions around that? Right, so and then
can I use
hello. Yep.
Can I use your ready-made VM for all practice in Linux?
No,
or
like
DBA or everything?
Yes, you can use that one. Like, for the installation, if you want to practice Linux installation, this is the process. You have to go ISO image, download it, and then you can practice it. If you don't want to do again and again installation, you can directly download your download that ready VM here. You can just download it and you can use that one for the installation, for the database installation.
For whole Linux training. Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. So,
but on the ready VM, we have to download the database, right?
I'm going to upload. This is the ready VM without database. I'm going to upload one more VM now with the database installed on that.
Okay.
I'm going to upload one more. This is the just empty VM. If you download this, you have to install your database. If you want to practice the database installation, you can use this one. I'm going to upload one more VM with the ready VM with the database as well. I'll upload it tonight.
Okay, so are you going to show us how to download the database over the Linux?
How to download the database over the Linux in the sense, what?
Mean the how we can install the database server over the.
No, that is that's a course, right? The installation is also part of that. Like, if you see how to install your grid, how to install your database, that will be like part of that one, right? Like, as I said, like, how to create users. That's how to check your operating system, how to create users, and then how to start with your database installation. That's a actual database course, right? So that will be like start with on Monday onwards. The actual database installation will start on Monday onwards.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so what I'm covering is like just the basics of Linux, how to set up your VM before we start with the database installation. And whatever we just saw, it's all like, the setting up your Linux box, installing of your Linux box. Right, so yeah, so quickly I can touch base, like there's one more, like this is my new VM I added here. Oracle Lab 1 is the new VM got created. And if I go inside dev and do LLSD star, I don't have any disk. Like, this is my, the disk, what I got it from 50 GB disk, whatever I use for installation. That's only one disk. I got it here. And then if we add a new disk, for example, if your Linux admin added a new disk, you want to create one extra mount point. Like, right now I have only this dev shm run / and boot. I want something called /bkp. I want one mount point called bkp. I want one mount point here, which is of 100 GB. You will ask your Linux admin to provide me /bkp of 100 GB mount point here. So he's going to add one disk here. Like right now you have SDA is the only disk you have it. He's going to add 100 GB disk on this particular server. That's a backend task. He's going to do it. He's going to add 100 GB disk, and then that 100 GB disk, he's going to mount it here as a /bkp for your backup operation. So that I'm going to show it here. Like I'm going to add it one backend disk here. Tomorrow I'll show you that how to add it actually, but right now I'm going to show you a quick demo on that. What I can do now. Give me a second. I'm just going to add 1 GB disk, not a 100 GB disk. Okay, I just added. Now if I do LLSD star here, you can see like I got SDB. Earlier I had only SDA, which is the 50 GB disk is my OS disk. If I do df-h, you can see like /dev SDA1. So whatever this SDA I formatted as a SDA1 and SDA2. I formatted 2 disks. Whatever this 50 GB disk I formatted as SDA1 and SDA2. And then these are my OS disk, what is coming default with my server. And then just now I added one SDB. That's a new disk I've added here. You can do fdisk-l. That's a list. You can see this one. You have your SDA. That's a 50 GB disk what we added as part of our Linux installation. That SDA I formatted as SDA1 and SDA2. SDA1 is my boot disk. You can see that boot is equal to star. It made boot equal to star. That is your boot partitions. Whatever you are seeing here, this boot partition, that is your SDA1. You can see this boot and this is your SDA1. So you can see that boot is star means your SDA is your boot partition, and SDA2 is your root partition. Whatever you are seeing this root partition here, that is your SDA2. This is your size of that SDA2. And now you can see here, you got SDB, that is like 1 GB. I just added 1 GB disk here. It does not have any partition. You can see like SDA disk is 50 GB and it has a 2 partition here. And this SDB, it is just 1 GB disk I added. I don't have any partition here. If I do partition, it will be like SDB1. Right now I don't have any partitions here. Like I have the command here, fdisk-l. You can see dev sd star, you'll get this one. And you have to do fdisk that partition. You want to do a partition on this SDB disk, you have to do this one, fdisk dev fdisk. This is fdisk dev SDB. The moment you do fdisk disk partition, whatever the newly added disk, you are asking your Linux admin to add that 100 GB disk, right? He's going to add this 100 GB disk and he's going to do partition on that disk. You can do fdisk dev that newly added disk, and then it's going to be new partition. N is for new partition, and then it's a primary partition. P is primary partition, and then if you are going to extend that partition, already existing partition, you use that extended. Since it's going to be new disk, I'm going to do with the primary partition, P as a primary partition, and I'll go with the default partition number 1. I'll go with the default, and I'll go with the default first sector, and I'll go with the last sector. I'll go with the default last sector, and W is to save. Then your disk is partition now. Now you can do fdisk-l, same thing. You can see this SDB and it's partitioned with SDB1. You do LL SD star now. Whatever this SDB, the newly added disk, that's 100 GB disk, is partitioned with SDB1. That's where now your Linux admin will add the disk and you will format it. And once the partition is done, you will add an entry to your FS tab. So I have this commands here. Where is that one? What a second. Where this same Word document, you can refer it out. It has that partition command output and all those things. If I go down here, right? So what we did, the same thing, fdisk-l. dev FDB, like you're gonna do partition, and then you will see this one. Whatever that ext3, I'm gonna mount format as a ext3 file system. Whatever that dev partition you did it now, you do this one. Make file system, you're gonna format that one. I'm gonna use this make file system ext3 dev HDB. So I'm just gonna format everything. So proceed anyway. Yes, I'm just gonna proceed. So you did a format, your newly added disk, you did a format here. Once you do the format, you can create your Vara archive directory. Once you create your Vara archive directory here, and you can give that full permission on that directory, and then you can mount that one. Mount whatever that HDB disk, you can mount it as a Vara archive mount point. If I do mount, done. So you mounted that newly added 1 GB disk in this case, but you are requesting your Linux admin to add 100 GB disk. Now you do df-h, and then you got your Vara archive mount point here, right? That is coming from HDB devdb. So if you need 100 GB, you are requesting your Linux admin to add 100 GB disk. So then that 100 GB disk will be mounted into your Vara archive or Vara data or BakeAP, whatever the mount point you want. Your Linux admin will create that mount point for you, and then you can use that mount point for storing your redo logs, archive logs, or control files or data files when you do your database installation. So then this is going to be like a temporary. The moment you restart your server, this mount point will go off, and then you want this mount point to be permanently mounted. Then you have to add into your etcfs tab. The moment you restart your VM, your server will read your FS tab first, and then it will mount it. Like how to add your dev HDB mounted as a Vara archive with the partition is ext3 or ext4 or XFS and default and 1.1. Like you can see. All right, that's it. Like your newly added disk, you're going to mount it as a Vara archive mount point with the ext3 partition. You have XFS, ext4, whatever partition you want, your Linux admin will create that one. And then now you can do df-h, and I'm gonna unmount this one. Umount is a command to unmount that mounted partitions. If you do df-h, then that Vara archive partition is gone. Simply you can use now mount-a. Mount-a will mount that new partitions, new disk, whatever you partition. You can see mount-a, it's gonna mount that Vara archive mount point. And whenever you reboot this VM, automatically this all mount point will be mounted. So that's like just your Linux admin task, but I'm just giving you like a heads up, like idea how these all partition, these are mount points are coming, how your Linux admin is mounting these mount points for your database creation or database installation.
On one question. Whatever you done partition, that all existing 50 GB only, right? That only you did partition, right?
No, that this as I said, right? Like if you do fdisk-l, I already used my entire 50 GB. That's my SDA disk, 50 GB disk. But this one I just newly added in the backend. I'm going to show you on Monday how to add the new disk. I'll show you this. This is a new disk I've added here. That's a 1 GB disk. I'll show you that how to add a new disk on your VM machine. That will cover it as a regular classes on Monday.
So that means not within 50 GB, outside.
Outside of 50 GB. Yeah, that's new disk of extra 1 GB, 10 GB, 20 GB. That's a separate disk you have to add it. That's outside of 50 GB.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. So quickly, other topics. This is your partitions, mount points, other things, and M repository. So I can quickly cover M repository. So very interesting one. Like we often install most of the RPMs. Let's go here. If I do M repo list, if there is any M repository configured, you will see it on this particular M repo list. Right now, like there are so many M repositories are configured here. You can see these are like M repositories. Right, so there are so many M repositories that are configured. So you can simply go inside your. Wait a second, where is that? I'll open that once again.
M default is configured, right? Inside Linux.
It's a default. It will come. Yeah. Like M repo list, you have to go inside cd m.repo.d. Let's go here and then do ll. So it's a part of your installation. Your repository will be configured here. Right. So what's the use case of your M repository? You should ask that question, right? What's the use of your M repository? So
That's correct.
like right now, you want to install any RPM on this particular server. How to verify whether that RPM is installed or not? The command is rpm-qa grep telnet. Telnet is one RPM. I want to verify whether telnet is installed or not. See, rpm qa telnet. Telnet is not installed here. I have not got any output. rpm qa is a command, and I'm just rpm qa will list out all the RPMs which are installed on this particular server. There's like thousands of RPMs. So I want to grep it telnet RPM. So telnet RPM is not installed here. So then how to install? The simple command is m install telnet. So it will connect to public M repository and then download that RPM. You can see telnet x86-64. It's a version 1.17 wheel 7. So it found this particular RPM from the public M repository. And then do you want to proceed with the installation? Yes. This particular RPM got installed now. Is it okay to continue? Yes. Done. So RPM is installed. Now you can do the same thing. RPM QA grep telnet. Your telnet RPM is got installed here. How this RPM got, from where it is got downloaded? Because of your M repo list. So if you see right, your Oracle Linux OL 7.repo, which is the one which will help you to connect to Oracle public M repository. You can see HTTP m.repo. This will connect to your Oracle public M repository, and then it will download that telnet and it will install here. So if I go here, public M repository, okay, I think I already given here. Right here. If I go here, this is your Oracle public M repository, and then it will connect to that public M repository and then download it. You can go with the Oracle Linux 7, 6, 8, whatever it is. Like now I'll go with the Oracle Linux 7, and then I'll go with the latest RPM x86-64, and then you will see all these RPMs. I can search for telnet. Let's go here, telnet. Right, so 0.17, that's the latest RPM. It got downloaded from this Oracle site and it is installed on my Linux here. If I did this m install telnet, it connected to Oracle repository site and it downloaded that 0.17 RPM and it installed here. Right, so that's a beauty of your M repository. If you configured your M repository, that will connect to your Oracle repository site and it will download it. And then I want to remove this RPM from my Linux box. The command is rpm-e, and then I can give this particular telnet here and then gone. So this particular RPM is got removed now. Right. So now what I'll do, I'll move all of these repositories, mkdir, bkp. I'll move everything into my bkp. Right. So now everything I moved inside bkp. Now I don't have Oracle this repo sites. Whatever this repo sites, I don't have it. Now, if I use the same m install command, it will not install anything. Like if I go here, okay, that m install telnet, it says m repo list all, and there are no enabled repos. Then earlier, like when I did m repo list here, where is that? Do I have that one? Right. So when I did this m repo list, I got this repo. Now, if I do the same m repo list, I don't see any m repo list. Repo lists are 0 because I don't have anything inside my inside my this etc m.depo.d. I don't have anything here. Everything I moved inside backup. So if I go back into my bkp, I'll move one of the repo. Like any one you can move it. Like any one repo is more than enough. So just I moved it one directory back here now. Now you can see I'll go back here. Now you can see I got one repo list here. Now you can do m repo list. M repo list, and you'll see you got one M repo list. That's what you downloaded, what you moved here. And now you can do M install telnet. It said like you cannot install now. Now you will be able to install this M repo list. Right now you can connect it to that M repo list, and basically it connected to your public M repository, and then it is started installing your RPM here. That's as simple as that one. But one of the disadvantages or caveat for this M repo, you should have an internet access on this particular server. If you don't have it, you cannot use this M repo. So for example, if I do ping google.com is to verify whether it is connected to internet or not. Ping google.com. So I'm getting a response here, like it is connected to internet. So this particular server connected to internet. What happens in case of if the customer don't connect it to internet? This is a dark site and you don't have access to internet connection on that one. How to install the RPM now? How to install the RPM now on that one? So I cannot use this M install, and I cannot. I do not have any M repo. Like customer is very strict and it's a very security concern. They don't want to connect this particular production server into internet, and then M repos are not configured. Then how to install the RPMs? So there's the RPM manual command. You need to use it. For example, you need to download this RPM. I'm going to download this RPM here. This is the RPM. Whatever the RPM you need you need to download it from this particular Oracle M repository site. I'm gonna go on the desktop. I'm gonna create RPM as a directory, and then I'm gonna save this particular telnet RPM. It's downloaded here. I can use something Winscp. Winscp is the tool to copy from Windows to Linux. Let's see here. This is my Winscp. I'm gonna add the new. I'm gonna give that my ifconfig. I can get my IP address. I can paste my IP address here. I can connect with the root user, and then add, and then I can enter the password for that root user. Right. So now it connected between your this is your Windows and this is your Linux. So I can go inside my desktop, and then there's the RPM folder what I created, and then the telnet RPM what I installed. So I'm going to copy that telnet RPM inside from Windows. This is my C drive Windows. This is my Linux root file system. So I'm going to copy inside my temp directory /temp. This is a temp directory. I'll just drag this RPM. I can just copy it here. So it will copy from my Windows to Linux. That's where you can copy the files between your Linux to Windows or Windows to Linux using your Winscp. So now your telnet is copied here. I'll minimize. I'll go inside my temp and I'll do ls-ltr. I can see the telnet RPM is got installed here. If you don't have internet access on the server and you don't have M repository configured on this particular Linux server, only way is to install any RPM is go to your Oracle M repository set, m.oracle.com, download that RPM locally on your Windows, use your Winscp software, and then copy that software to your Linux box. That's what I did here. I copied your Linux box. Now I'll verify RPM-QA grep telnet. So telnet is installed. I'll remove this one RPM-E. RPM-E is to remove your RPM. Now you can verify it. Your RPM is got removed. Right. So RPM is removed. Now you can go ahead install RPM-IVH. You have to use this RPM-IVH, and then you have to use that whatever the RPM you downloaded. If you don't have that M repository, if you have that M repository, the commands are very simple. M install telnet. It will connect to internet and it will install it. You don't have M repository, you don't have internet access on this server. You have to manually download that RPM and copy it to your Linux box, and then use this RPM-IVH for your installation. And then you have to pass that RPM, whatever you downloaded. That's going to install RPM for you. Now you can verify that RPM-QA grep telnet. The RPM is installed here. That's a simple RPM installation command. Right. So IVH is for installation. Instead of IVH, you use U. U stands for upgrade. UVH instead of RPM. If you use UVH, that will be like your upgradation. If you have lower version and you want to do the higher version RPM installation, you can use UVH for upgrading the existing RPM. Right. So that's a command I gave here. M install telnet or RPM IVH, UVH. And how to verify that RPM is installed or not, you can use RPM QA grep telnet, and then RPM QA, and then how to remove that one, get that RPM QA telnet, and you'll see that RPM, and you can use RPM-E, RPM-E, and then that RPM name. So that's going to remove that RPM from your server. Right, that's done. So that's a quick intro of how to deal with your RPM installation, because as part of your database installation, we used to install multiple prerequisites RPM, because you cannot directly go ahead and install your database software 19CR, 11GR, 12C. You cannot directly install your software because there are so many prerequisites RPM you need to install before you install with your database software. Right, so that's about RPM mrepo configuration. If you configure your mrepo list and your server has internet access, commands are very simple. M install telnet, M remove telnet. The commands are very easy. You can use that M commands. If you not have internet, or if you don't have M repository configured, you have to manually download those RPMs. Use that RPM-IVH UVH to install, or RPM-E to remove that RPM. So these are like RPM commands. You can play around this one. And then some other tools like MobaXterm. MobaXterm is also your terminal connection. Using this MobaXterm, you can connect to your Linux server. Just like click on this session and give that particular IP address. Whatever that IP address you have it here. ifconfig is a command to verify. So you can get your Linux server IP address. Use this one session, SSH session, give that IP address, click OK. And then it will connect. It will ask you to enter the username, root, or Oracle user, or Malik user, whatever username, password you have it. You can provide that username and password. And then that will connect to that particular Linux server, which is somewhere in your data center, London or New York, or wherever your database server resides. If you have like IP address and username and password, you can connect it using this MobaXterm, or by the sake, like you can use this Putty session, new session, and you can use that same IP address, host name or IP address. You can give host name or IP address, click OK, and then it will ask you to enter username. Same thing, like you can, once you connect your RPM-QA grep telnet, right? So nothing is there. Like you can connect either Putty session or MobaXterm. Both are used for connecting to your Linux server as a terminal connections. And then Winscp, as I told you, Winscp is for copying software. Like I'll just show you one more time. I'll just close this one. I'll use Winscp. Cancel this one. Click on this new session, new site, and give that IP address, and give that username, and give that password. That is your Linux server, and username and password. The moment you connect, it will connect between your Windows and Linux. You can copy from Windows to Linux, Linux to Windows. Both will come from the same thing here. Like this is your Windows and this is your Linux. So you want to copy anything from Linux to Windows, you can drag and drop it here. Or you want to copy from here to here, you can just drag and drop it here. Right. So that's a use case of your Winscp, Putty, MobaXterm, and RDP is for your remote connection. So if you want to take your Windows system remote connection, I'll show you that on Monday, how to use your remote desktop. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover as part of this demo classes. Any questions or queries? So I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, we can conclude. We're just overloaded, like overwhelmed with 14 minutes as scheduled.
Malik?
Yeah.
Actually, I tried to install this in a Linux box, but one doubt is like I got the IP address using ifconfig. After that, I just have saved that in Putty. Then next day I tried, it's not connecting. It's showing like connection refused. And I tried again. It's showing different IP address. So
yeah, that's a DHCP. You're using a DHCP, so that will automatically. For example, right now, my Windows is connected to my Airtel broadband here, and then I have connected this system, and then I connected my mobile,
two IPs are assigned, and then tomorrow I like some other mobile connected, some other device connected, that IP will be assigned to that new devices, and you have to go ahead and check what IP address is assigned with your VM box, and you have to use that IP address to connect. Otherwise, there's a static IP address we need to assign. That IP address will be permanent. I can cover it on Monday, how to assign the static IP address.
Okay, okay.
So because like this is a dynamic DHCP, based upon how many devices are connected in your network, your dynamic IP address will be keep on changing.
Okay, okay. Okay, in host file and all, we need to save this detail something, right? IP details.
Yeah, I can cover on that static IP address and all those things on Monday before we start with our class. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So any more queries? If not, then we can stop it here. And tomorrow we will see some of the networking basics, and then that's our 2 demo classes, Thursday and Friday, and then the actual class will start from Monday.
Hi, Malik.
So, Mr. Malik.
Yep.
So do you want us to actually download the Linux and also the VMware on top of the Linux?
If you install, okay, there are 2 things here. Like, there's already ready VMs are uploaded here. You can just download it and you can use it. Your VM will be ready now. You can start with your installation. And if you want to practice that Linux installation, whatever I showed you, right? You have to download that ISO file, and then you have to start your Linux installation if you want to practice your Linux installation. Otherwise, you can pretty much go ahead and download this the VM box here. The VM is already ready. You can use that VM for your Oracle installation. That will be on Monday.
Can you able to download the database on top of this?
Yeah. This VM, once you download it, it's just a brand new VM and no database inside that one. The database installation I'm going to show you on Monday. You can just download this VM and you can ready your VM and you can start with your database installation on top of this VM.
Okay.
And I'm going to upload one more VM here, Oracle Lab 2, with the VM as well as database installed on that.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hi, Malik. I'm Kiran here. Just I joined. Sorry for late. Malik, you are saying no need to install Linux anything. So directly we can. I mean, we can log in whatever you are saying. That is possible for all the things. I mean, for if I want to do a DR setup, like the kind of stuff.
Yeah, DR setup is not done. Like, you have to configure. You have to download 2 VMs here, and you have to configure your DR setup. So that will be part of like when I cover my DR, you can configure that DR setup.
Okay, I mean, why I'm asking, right? SSS setup, everything will work if I have 2 VMs, whatever you said that VMs.
Yeah. So that we can configure it. Like,
so no need of installations, no?
Yeah, no need of installation. So that will be ready.
It's super. Yeah. And Malik, the software download and everything, that also you are going to provide example 19C binaries and everything stuff.
That's on Monday, right? Like, that this course is precisely for your database course, right? Like actual your software installation, database creation, everything will start from Monday onward. This is just a basic setup, your Linux box, how to set up your Linux. That's what I showed you. As
yeah, I just missed it. Just I joined.
Oh yeah, already
because as it is, as it is demo, I just want to know what the course content is there. And one thing, Malik, so this class starts around 9 to 12, right? Because I'm in morning shift. Like how it's possible? I mean, for me, how I mean.
No, like there's no other choice. This is a fixed timing, and then you have to go through recordings. And if you're stuck, or you can feel free to ping me or in the ping on our dedicated group. So we can connect with you wherever you're stuck, and then we'll get going.
Okay, fine.
Malik, is this the time the class is going to be on?
Yeah, it's a fixed timing. It's the same timing, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Because in US here, the time currently it's like
that's true. Again, I got a request also to start the classes on US hours, but it's a time concern for me as well. This is the only timing what I have it. Probably in future days, if I plan it, then I can definitely let you know. But right now, this is the only timing what I can suggest.
Malik, another question. If I have an exposure, because I had an exposure, everything, database, everything. So in that case, I can go through these videos, I can go and I can do it by my own. That is also possible.
Yeah, definitely. Every day.
Yeah. Malik, in this case, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. All right. So if no queries, questions, then I can stop it here. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you tomorrow.